It is 4:47 a.m., July 1st, 1916. The Somme Valley, northern France. You are standing in a trench. Not the kind of trench you may have imagined. Not a clean, organized ditch. This is a wound in the earth, narrow, crooked, and alive with misery. The walls are held together by wooden planks and sandbags, most of them rotting. The mud is past your ankles. You stopped feeling your feet hours ago. The smell hits you before anything else. Earth, wet wool, sweat that has nowhere to go. And underneath all of it, something else. Something you recognized the first week, and have never been able to name out loud. You don't try anymore. You have been in France for 4 months. You enlisted in September of 1914, 2 weeks after your 19th birthday. You remember the recruitment office, the poster on the wall, the sergeant who shook your hand and told you it would be over by Christmas. Your mother cried. Your father did not, but he held your shoulder for a long time at the door, longer than he ever had before, and you didn't understand why until you got here. You understand now. Around you, men are waking, if they slept at all. Most didn't. The soldier to your left, Tommy, is from Sheffield, 22 years old. He has a photograph of his wife tucked inside his jacket, pressed against his chest. He touches it sometimes like a reflex, like checking a wound. He is doing it now. To your right, a boy named Arthur. He told everyone he was 18 when he enlisted. He is 16. You've known this for weeks. You've told no one. Arthur is praying, not loudly, just moving his lips, eyes half closed, hands wrapped around his rifle like it might save him. Maybe he thinks it will. The bombardment began 6 days ago. For 6 days, British artillery has hammered the German lines across no man's land. That strip of ruined earth between your trench and theirs, perhaps 300 yards wide. For 6 days, you have listened to the guns until they became background noise, like rain. The plan, as you understand it, is simple. The guns destroy the German defenses. Cut their barbed wire, silence their machine guns. Then you go over the top. Then you walk. Not run. Walk. Across no man's land to the German trenches, which by then should be empty of any serious resistance. Walk. You remember the officer saying that. Walk, men. Walk calmly and in line. You said nothing. Nobody did. It is now 5:15 a.m. The guns have stopped. The silence is worse than the noise. You didn't think that was possible, but here it is. A silence so complete it presses against your ears like hands. After 6 days of continuous bombardment, your body has adjusted to the chaos. Now that it's gone, something primal in you reads the quiet as a warning. You grip your rifle. The wood is slick with morning dew and your own sweat. The bayonet is fixed. 17 inches of steel that you practiced with on a dummy stuffed with straw in a field in Sussex. 3 months ago on a morning that smelled like grass and rain and nothing else. You do not let yourself think about what it is actually for. An officer moves along the trench behind you. Young, younger than you expected officers to be. He has a pistol at his hip and a walking stick in his hand. And he speaks quietly to each man as he passes. He says things like good man and steady now and won't be long. His voice does not shake. You wonder if that is courage, or if he simply hasn't understood yet. Or perhaps he has understood completely, and this is what understanding looks like. Tommy passes you his water canteen without speaking. You take one mouthful and hand it back. It tastes like metal and river water. It is the best thing you have ever drunk. You think about home. Not in a sentimental way. You don't let yourself do that, not today. Just flashes. The kitchen table. The sound your mother made when she laughed at something on the radio. The particular creak of the third stair. The way the light came through the curtains on Sunday mornings. Yellow and slow and full of dust. Arthur stops praying. He looks at you, and for a moment he is just a boy. A boy who lied to a sergeant to get here, who perhaps imagined glory, and is now standing ankle-deep in mud in the dark, about to do something that cannot be undone. He says, "Do you think it'll be all right?" You say yes. You do not know if you are lying. It is 7:12 a.m. Somewhere down the line, a whistle is passed from hand to hand. You see it moving. When it reaches your officer, he holds it but does not raise it. Not yet. Your heart is hammering. Not from the cold. Every sense you have sharpens to a point. You can hear men breathing around you. You can hear the mud shifting under boots. You can hear very faintly what might be bird song. A single bird, somewhere above the ruin of this valley, still alive. Still doing what birds do. You fix on that sound. The whistle blows. You climb. There are wooden ladders set against the trench wall, rough, muddy, shaking under the weight of men. Your hands grip the rungs. Your rifle is slung across your back. Up! Up! And then you are above ground, and the world opens up around you, in a way that makes no sense. You see no man's land for the first time in full light. It is nothing like land. It is the surface of a different planet, churned and blasted. Craters overlapping craters. Water pooled black at the bottom of each one. The ground in between is a tangle of mud and wire, and things you will not look at directly. The artillery was supposed to clear the wire. Some of it is still there. You start walking, because that is the order. Walk! For a moment, just a moment, it is quiet again. You walk. Tommy is to your left, Arthur to your right. The sun is up now, already bright, and the morning light makes everything look almost peaceful if you squint. If you don't look at the wire, if you don't look at the craters, if you don't think too hard about the 300 yards between you and them. Then the German machine guns open up. The sound is nothing like the recruitment posters, nothing like the newspaper reports, nothing like anything you have a word for. It comes in waves, heavy, rhythmic, mechanical, indifferent, and the men around you begin to fall. Not dramatically. Not like the theater. They just stop. One moment upright, the next moment not. You run. You know the order was to walk, but your legs make the decision before your mind does, because your mind is no longer entirely in charge. You are running, and around you others are running too. And the ground is trying to kill you with every step. Holes, wire, mud that grabs at your boots like hands. Tommy is still beside you. You look for Arthur. You cannot find Arthur. You throw yourself into a crater. Muddy water, chest deep. You gasp. The cold is absolute, like being swallowed. But you press your back against the dirt wall and you breathe. Fast and ragged. And you are alive. You are alive. Tommy slides in beside you a second later. He says nothing. His face is the color of chalk. You realize you are both shaking, and neither of you is cold enough to justify it. From the rim of the crater, you can see the German wire. Still up. Uncut. You can see men caught in it. You stay in the crater for 40 minutes. That is how long it takes for the machine gun covering your section of the line to shift its angle. Drawn perhaps by a larger group of men to the south. In those 40 minutes, you learn what waiting really means. Not the waiting of before, which was dread. This is different. This is the waiting of a man pressed against wet earth who is counting seconds and trying to remember everything he was ever told about how to stay alive. Tommy talks. He talks about his wife. Her name is Clara. She teaches school children in Sheffield, the young ones, the ones who still believe. The world is basically good. He talks about the way she folds her arms when she's thinking, about the pie she makes with whatever she can find, about how she cried when he left, but waved from the gate and smiled by the time he rounded the corner. And he only saw that because he looked back. And he's glad he did. He says, "I'm going to go home and never leave again." He says it like a decision, not a wish. You think about what you will do if you get home. Small things. You will sleep. You will eat something that isn't bully beef or hard biscuit. You will walk somewhere without listening for what the silence means. You will sit in a room with your family and you will not explain any of this, because there are no words that would carry it across the distance between here and there. You will be different. You already know this. Whatever you were before, the boy in the kitchen. On the Sunday mornings with the yellow light. He did not climb out of that trench with you this morning. He stayed behind. At 8:52 a.m. you move again. Not forward. There is no forward. Not today. Not on this section of the line. You move sideways, trench to trench, following a route that was explained to you 2 days ago, and that you are now finding from memory and instinct, in a landscape that no longer resembles the map. Tommy follows. You do not find Arthur. By nightfall, you are back in the British lines. Not your original trench, that section is chaos, but a support trench 200 yards behind the front, where men who have come back sit against the walls and do not speak. Someone hands you tea in a tin cup. It is too hot and too sweet, and you drink it all. The numbers will come later. You don't know them yet, but on this day, July 1st, 1916, the British Army will suffer approximately 57,470 casualties. Nearly 20,000 of those men will be dead by nightfall. It is the single bloodiest day in the history of the British Army. Perhaps in the history of any army. You don't know this yet. You know only what you have seen, which is already more than you can hold. Tommy sits beside you. He is looking at the photograph of Clara. He does not touch it this time, just looks, like it is something he is memorizing, like he wants to make sure it is still real. You sit with him. The guns are still going somewhere. They will go all night. By now the sound is simply the sound of this world. The only world that currently exists, stretching in all directions, as far as you can imagine. You will be here for another 2 years. There will be other mornings like this one. Other whistles. Other silences that mean worse things than noise. You will lose men you love, not dramatically. Not with the ceremony that words like sacrifice imply, but simply and suddenly, the way a candle goes out in the wind. You will write letters home that say almost none of this. You will receive letters that try, from the other side of an ocean of experience, to reach you. They will try. But tonight you are alive. Tonight, that is the only sentence that matters. You close your eyes. In the distance, something that might be thunder or might be guns. It no longer matters which, rolls across the valley of the Somme. The third stair creaks. The light through the curtains is yellow and slow. You are 19 years old, and you are very far from home. On July 1st, 1916, the British and Commonwealth forces suffered 57,470 casualties in a single day, the worst in British military history. The Battle of the Somme would continue for another 141 days, finally ending in November 1916. The total casualties on all sides exceeded 1 million men. The PALS battalions, regiments made up of men from the same towns and streets, who had enlisted together, were devastated. Entire communities lost a generation in a single morning. The wire in many sectors was never cut. If you want to understand the First World War, not as a list of dates and generals, but as a thing that happened to human beings, start with July 1st, 1916. Start with the whistle. Start with the walk. You were there. History is full of moments like this. If this one moved you, subscribe, so you don't miss the next one. A thumbs up helps more than you might think. And leave a comment. Tell us which moment in history you'd like to step into next, or simply that you were here. Every voice matters. This is You Are There. We'll see you in history.